Thank you for joining again for another Cooking with Chef David. Today we're going to do some Dominican food and we're going to try a couple different stages here. We're going to be making Dominican chicken, pollo dominicano, and we're going to be making the yuca root with red onion marinated with some yuca con cebolla. I'm going to show you some of the preparations. We're going to start going on this and just go as fast as we can and do it. First thing is in Dominican Republic, we want to take the chicken and then what they do is they put lemon juice, they wash it with a little lemon juice because there's not a lot of refrigeration there. So what we're going to do is just rinse it with the lemon. I'm just going to take it over here and give it a quick rinse with the water. Okay, there's our chicken. Our chicken's ready now and we can go ahead and we can marinate it. So one of the things we want to marinate it with, we want to put a little bit of onion in there. So we're going to go with a little bit of red onion. And I just kind of chop it up coarsely. I got some real nice little peppers, some sweet peppers, cilantro, garlic, and I like an assortment of peppers in all my dishes, especially when I do Dominican chicken. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut these up real quick. And I want them big because I don't want to cook them down so much. I want to do a little bit of celery in my Dominican chicken. This is all traditional. So put a little celery in there. Always look when you're cutting over knife, don't look away. And of course, you can never have too much onion. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a little more onion. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna marinate this chicken. And when we marinate it, we use all the onion and the peppers. But here's the secret to doing this dish now. Okay, in Dominican Republic, we have a sauce called salsa chino. It's made in Dominican Republic, and it's with soy sauce that they use. Before I put that on there, I want to get the garlic flavor on my chicken first. So I'm just going to throw a couple spoons of garlic on there. This is going to be mixed in with the herbs and everything. And I want to get my soy sauce in there. And I just want to massage it in there and get that chicken with that nice flavor with that soy sauce and that garlic. What I'm using is I'm using legs and I'm using boneless thighs. Okay. Now I'm going to take these vegetables, my herbs de bronze. And so I'm moving around in there, and they're gonna get that nice marinated. They got the garlic, all my cilantro, a whole bunch of cilantro I'm gonna put in there. My assorted sweet peppers, let's get those in there. I'm just gonna massage that in there. What happens is that chicken's gonna take that flavor, and that's gonna be our dish. And we're gonna cook this in a minute. But I just want the chicken to absorb the garlic and the soy sauce and the peppers and onions. And I like to take a little bit of Spanish oregano. There's a lot of countries call this many different names. Mexico, it's called Mexican oregano. In Puerto Rico, it's called Recal Brujo, which is brujo is witch. So like a witch oregano. So just break that up and mix that in there. That's another one of my herbs that grow real nice. So that looks pretty good just like that. So if you get a little close up, you can see that's the marinade right there. So let's let that sit a minute. Now we're gonna do our yuca root. The yuca root is made Dominican style by taking onions and marinating them. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna take the yuca root, we're gonna peel it. Now yuca root, the plant is very poisonous. You will die if you eat it. But the bulb what I have here is not. You can see how it comes off. You take it off like it's a bark. You peel it like so. And you can tell a good yuca when it's white. If it's gray and it's got like ugly spots in it, and like any type of starch, you don't want to eat it. This is pretty good. We're gonna cut it in small pieces, like so. And in our water boiling, what we're gonna do is we're gonna infuse a little bit of oil. And we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit of salt. I like Himalayan salt because it's the better one. So put a little bit of Himalayan salt in there. In all starches, you should put salt and oil. I don't care if it's pasta, rice. We're gonna take our yuca and put it in there. Some people take and cut lines in the yuca. You gotta be very careful with a knife while you're doing this, it doesn't slip. You cut the lines because they come in sections. This is a very young yuca, and you can see it's, sometimes they get real old, but this one is a nice one. This is really nice. Believe it or not, in the Dominican Republic, this piece of this plant is one of the major factories. They take the yuca and they make starch out of it. It has more starch than anything known to man, more than corn. Look at the starch on my knife. We're gonna go ahead and let this boil. I don't want you guys to think I'm throwing this on the floor. I'm not. Let's do our onion. Our Yuka's cooking. This is our red onion. Man, I don't have that much Yuka, so I don't really need that much onion. This is one of my favorite things to make. It really is. What we do now is we put the onion in a bowl. We put some vinegar in the bowl. Just moisten it up. Break it up. The vinegar is gonna make it. It's gonna make it get real soft. We're gonna let this marinate for 15 minutes. This is gonna go on top of the Yuka. This is traditional. And we're gonna put salt. Salt and vinegar. And then we'll let that marinate. Notice we got a lot of things marinating, huh? Now, our Yuka root's gonna cook for a while, so we're gonna take this and put it on the back burner over here. And in this pan, I wanted to make a little bit of garlic, so we're gonna go with a little oil. We're gonna go with some garlic. Now, garlic burns really fast, so we're gonna just work this garlic like in this hot oil. And how we're gonna cool it down, we're gonna stick ourselves with half a stick of butter in there. At the same time, it makes a garlic butter oil. Right now, we want to infuse, let the garlic come out, let it bleed out. This is called sweating the garlic, when you're working with oil and you sweat out the flavors. See it's starting to brown already, so shut the flame off. Then I'll just cut up the butter in pieces. The butter will cool, like I said, the butter will cool it off. Take it off the flame, and you got a really nice, you can take this, you can pour this right on top of the Yuka. It's still hot, but it won't burn. Beautiful garlic butter. Now what we're gonna do now is we're gonna wipe the seasoning off this chicken. What we're gonna do in the next stage is really cool. This is what makes the Dominican chicken what Dominican chicken is. Let's get a little closer look at the pan itself. Get some oil in there. Now this oil is olive oil mixed with vegetable oil. Why? I do 80% vegetable oil with 20% olive oil because olive oil does burn. What else I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some sugar, just put it inside the pan. And in a couple of minutes, we're gonna see how that caramelizes. So our sugar is starting to caramelize. See how it's starting to bubble like that? You gotta be careful with the sugar, you don't burn it. There's a lot of sugar in there yet that still has to caramel yet. I'm gonna turn this down just a little. So now, we're gonna put our chicken. Pollo Dominicano. We got a high flame because now the chicken cooled down the pan. We let that cook for a few minutes and then we'll turn it over and see how it looks. See how it starts when it cooks, how it cracks? Look at how it cracks in the middle. What happens is it absorbs water and it starts to soften up. So that's how you can tell when this is done. So we're gonna let that cook a little bit more longer so it's soft, and then we're gonna pull it out. So now in this pan, we're gonna add a little oil. Everybody's like, man, there's a lot of oil in this food. There is a lot of oil in this food. So our onions are gotten softer now. And let's look at our chicken. Now, I normally don't like to grab at a Teflon pan with tongs, but see, that's the sugar right there. How it caramelized. Get its flavor. See that? That's all caramelization. That's all from the sugar, what the sugar does. Look at that. So we want to keep the skin down first. Everything carameled really nice. I'm really happy with the color. That one didn't get so much. Some do and some don't. Don't matter. Okay, now in this dish, I put a little bit of 80-20 oil in there. Onions with vinegar and salt. So here's our onions. Don't want to really work them too much. We want to have them very al dente. You don't have to season them with nothing. You want to season them with a little bit of pepper medley. We'll do a little pepper medley on there. Not necessary, but hey, the more character that something has, the more exciting it is in my book. So these onions are already done. Look at that. We're just gonna shut those off. Let them rest a minute. And go to the chicken now. The chicken's cooking really nice. Look at the nice color it's got. It's gonna take a while for the chicken to really get cooked. We wanna cook it 3/4 of the way before we add the vegetables back to it. Because I'm using such a big wok that it's absorbing too much of the heat, the energy that the burner's taking. So it's taking more time. Sometimes when you cook, you gotta take that extra time to cook something. I put a little bit of 80-20 oil in there. My onions with vinegar and salt. Put it in there. That's gonna go over our yuca. Let that work for a few minutes and we'll check it in a minute. Look at the water, how white it is. That's all the starch in there. Look at that. You look at the bottom. They're getting nice and soft. They won't take long. Really cool thing about yuca root. Look at the yuca root has a root. It has when you clean it, you have to take this out. It looks like a wick from a candle. It's the center of the yuca root. It's impossible to eat. I mean, look at this thing. It's like it's like a rope. Look at that. You can't eat it. So when you clean your yuca root, you have to take that out of there. We're just gonna let it cook a little softer because I like it soft. I don't like it real al dente. When they break it in half, that means they're almost ready. So this will be about another 10 minutes. So we have here our red onion to go over our yuca, which will be Dominican style. We have our garlic and oil over the yuca. This is Puerto Rican style. We're gonna marry each other today. We're gonna do onion with garlic, and I'm gonna take two different cultures and mix them together to make one dish. Because I believe that onion and garlic go together. I want to take some of this. I got too much oil in here. I don't want to make it greasy. When chicken cooks, yeah, it releases its own oil. So even though I'm taking oil out, this chicken's gonna make more oil. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna move it around a little bit, flip it around. That chicken's got that color on it. Now the chicken is like probably 1/3 pretty much cooked, if not 2/3. We're gonna add all the essence of this vegetables into the dish with the chicken. This is called a guisao. A guisao is like a stewed chicken. Let that cook for about 7-8 minutes and we'll give it a little flip, but we don't want to cover it. We want to let everything evaporate. Let's go to our yuca root. Okay, now we're gonna shut off our yuca. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take it out. I think a fork is the best way to do this. Each piece you want to make sure that you get what I call it the wick. It looks just like a wick of a candle. Look at it. Tell me if I'm wrong. It looks like a wick. So what you do with the yuca root, normally it's best to use a slaughter spoon so you don't get all the juice in there. That's all right. Now, another good thing about yuca is if you have a baby that's 2 years old and the baby keeps getting up at night because the baby wants milk, wants to eat, take some yuca and cook it just like this and mash it like mashed potatoes. And it's so starchy that baby won't wake up till tomorrow. Okay, I'm gonna do this 2 ways. I do it Dominican style and Puerto Rican style. Dominican style is with the red onion. You know what? I love red onion. I'm sorry, but if I put too much on there, oh well. There's Dominican style. Puerto Rican style, a little bit of garlic oil. Well, not a little, a lot. Just let it fuse in there. And we season everything with adobo. Every Spanish, I don't care if you're Dominican, Puerto Rican, you have adobo. A little bit of adobo on there, okay? And we just finish it off with a little bit of cracked pepper, like so. So now we got our yuca ready to go. Dominicano, yuca de Puerto Rico. Now we just mix this up. You see I got a lot of liquid in here. The chicken's got its own sauce. It's just cooking up really good with the vegetables. I know some people will put tomato paste and they put tomato sauce. Some don't put anything at all. I mix tomato paste with tomato sauce. I'm gonna give this a little bit of a Mexican twist. I'm gonna go ahead and cheat a little bit and give it a little bit of Mexican flavor. Some nice smoked chipotle peppers in here. And this ancho sauce. Now you notice there was a lot of pepper. The peppers were, they were big. I don't want them big. So I'll just go ahead and take my scissors and cut them in pieces like so. So that they can spread around in the dish without cutting my fingers, of course. I mean, you can't beat this. You know, I was gonna put these in at the end, but I'm just gonna stick them right in. This is some green onion. I just wanna get that in there like so. One important thing when you're cooking this dish, you season it with a little oregano. Not too much, Just a little oregano. Not putting no salt in it because it has the soy sauce. But we'll go with a little bit of our pepper medley is a sweet pepper. I mean, hey, you're eating a dish here that's really wholesome and good for you. So we're gonna let it cook a little bit for a few more minutes, let some of this evaporation come out, and then we're gonna cover it and let the steam cook the vegetables. So right now, I just wanna let it work like this here, and we'll let it cook for a few more minutes and come right back. I haven't tasted this the whole time I've been cooking it. I'm dying to see where I'm at. We got a little heat in the pepper. It needs to be sweetened up a little bit. Just put a little bit of sugar in there. I'm gonna alter this dish. So because this dish, I wanted a little sweetness to it, put the sweet soy in there. Just a little bit, not much, look at that. Just put it in there. It's so sweet. Whenever you have acid, you wanna get that acid out of there. We're gonna cover this up with my mega lid. I call it my mega lid. Let it work a few minutes and we'll finish it off. Well, now that we got to see how it turned like the liquid and everything in there. I don't want to cook it any more than what I just cooked it. I'm gonna go ahead and take a piece of it, the chicken, and see how tender it is and see if it's fully cooked. Look at that, it's cooked. We'll work it just a little bit more. This leg and thigh. We'll see how really fully cooked it is. That's what I want. That's the chicken I want right there. So there you have it. Dominican chicken with a little bit of southwestern fusion. That's the chipotles and the peppers. A little more oregano at the end. And there's nothing else I can do. This surgery is over. So now we're gonna do our plate up. Now this will feed a lot of people. I mean, in the Dominican Republic, I'd say 6 people will eat off of this, 7, which is not bad. Yeah, this is my favorite dish, Dominican chicken. I love it. Let's go ahead and put that on there. Put some of the vegetables on top, so you can see that. And then I wanna go over here and just grab the yuca. This one I gotta use my hand, because I wanna make sure I do it just right. Got our yuca, Puerto Rican, Dominican, and one thing about these countries that they agree on, avocado is a must. And when you eat this dish, you're gonna eat it all together. You're gonna eat avocado, you're gonna eat the Dominican chicken, you're gonna eat the yuca. I wanted to marry the Dominican yuca with the Puerto Rican yuca. I wanted to marry the Dominican chicken with the chipotle peppers from Mexico. So we can have like a, just say a mixed marriage. One more thing I want to get is come over here by my oregano. Grab a piece of oregano, my plant, my Spanish oregano. I'm gonna lay that right so. And there you have it. Pollo Dominicano con yuca de Santo Domingo y yuca de Puerto Rico con aguacate. Join me next week. I always tell you where we're gonna go, but it's gonna be a surprise next week where we're gonna go. So I'm not gonna tell you until we get there. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy it. I will.